Hello, this is Jeff Kelly, and in this video, I want to talk about how rising home prices are causing a lot of problems for people who need to file bankruptcy. Now, you may say to yourself, how in the world could rising real estate prices cause financial problems for a homeowner? I know it sounds super strange, but I'll explain how this is happening. I've been practicing consumer bankruptcy for over 22 years. And I've never seen a real estate market like the one that is currently roaring. You would think that rising home equity would be wonderful for everybody. But for somebody who has a lot of consumer debt like credit cards and medical bills, it can actually be a little bit of a problem. Many people have suffered through this COVID mess. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and now they've got huge piles of debt that they need to deal with. But what happens when the price of their house is surging? How can rising equity in homes stop people from filing bankruptcy? Here's how. In Georgia, the most equity that a married couple can protect is $43,000. A single person can protect up to $21,500. So what happens if you need to file bankruptcy, but you have equity that is way over these limits? What do? The answer to this question is same as the answer is to most legal questions. It depends. Depends on what? Well, it depends on the amount of the equity. When a family has like just a little bit more equity than the legal limits allow, it's usually not that big a deal, because whenever a trustee is going to sell real estate, they're going to have to pay a real estate person a commission. They're also going to have to pay legal fees for closing on the house. And so, as a general rule of thumb, I like to say, 10% of the sales price is probably going to have to go to real estate commission plus legal fees and on and on. But what do you do when you're way over the limits? What happens? Right now, it is not uncommon for me to see people with over $100,000 of equity in their homes. And a lot of people are shocked. A lot of people are unaware just how much the price of their house has climbed. In the past, we used to rely on tax assessor value, and they were usually decently close. Now, we're leaning more towards Zillow, and Zillow seems to be getting better and better at their numbers and their calculations. So anybody who is considering Chapter 7 must be extremely careful in ascertaining the value of their home before filing the Chapter 7 bankruptcy, because once you are in the thick of it, you can't get out. Now, little side note, I grew up watching one of the best shows on planet Earth on TV called Gilligans Island. And in a lot of the episodes, Gilligan would get trapped in quicksand. And it was always a little humorous and a little comical the way he would struggle, but he would always get out. And, Gilligan's a funny guy. But in Chapter 7, it's not funny if you get stuck in quicksand. And in Chapter 7, if the trustee finds a buyer for your house and they move to sell it, you're probably not going to get out of the quicksand. It's not going to end as well as it did for Gilligan in every episode. Now the trustee would have to pay off your mortgage, and they would have to pay you the exempted amount that you were able to claim in your bankruptcy case. And then, of course, they're going to pay themselves a handsome legal fee for their work, and then use the rest of the money to pay off your debts. So how can you avoid the calamity of losing your house in a Chapter 7, but still wipe out at least some of the debt and get some relief from bankruptcy? Well, the answer is ding, 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 ding. You guessed it, Chapter 13. However, for the Chapter 13 to be successful, we've got to create a plan that will pay the same amount of money to all unsecured creditors as the amount they would have received if Chapter 7 had been the chosen course of action. This is called the bankruptcy liquidation test, and all Chapter 13 bankruptcy cases must pass the liquidation test. Here is an example of where Chapter 13 could work. Let's say a person has a house with $20,000 in exposed equity, not equity, keyword there, exposed equity, meaning more than the exempted amount. Assuming no car debt, tax debt, or any other type of secured or priority debt, this person would be looking at a Chapter 13 payment of around $450 a month. Let's change the facts a little bit. Let's say they owe $200,000 in medical debt. Well, if this person is under the median income limit, the payment will still be $450 a month. What if it's $300,000 in medical debt? The payment is still going to be $450 a month. What if it's $500,000 in medical debt? The payment will still be $450 a month. What? Why? Well, the reason is because the equity of the home is the driver of the amount of payment, not the amount of debt. Now, let's change it up a little bit and show an example where it would never work. Let's say you have somebody who has exposed equity of $100,000. If this person owes $200,000 in medical debt, credit card or other type of unsecured debt, they're going to have to pay back $100,000 to protect the house. And in this specific case, the payment would be around $1,900 a month. What if this person can't afford $1,900 per month to protect the house? Surely they're not going to take your house, right? Wrong. The answer is they're not going to be able to file Chapter 13 because it wouldn't be feasible. So what do families do who are caught in huge medical and credit card debt, but have too much equity to file a Chapter 13? The harsh but truthful answer is they must sell the house and pay the debt. Where do they go after selling the house? This is an awful dilemma right now because rents are high and beyond the reach of many, many people. In addition, many people who lost their jobs because of COVID are now finding new jobs that don't pay as much as the previous job. Borrowing against the equity is not possible for many people because of the decreased income. What is the solution to this disastrous situation that faces many people in the state of Georgia? I think the state of Georgia should raise the equity limits to about $100,000 for a single person and about $150,000 for a married couple. Furthermore, I believe that the Georgia housing exemption should be adjusted every year according to whatever increase there is in the consumer price index so that this exemption will keep pace with inflation. And that way we don't have to constantly always go back and redo this exemption. I think this would be a good solution. So somebody out there, please run for office and get it done. If you would like to set up a free consultation with my office, give me a call at 770-637-1756. The consult is free, but the information you receive could relieve you from a ton of stress. And who knows, it might save your house. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I really, really appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great day.